Hello everyone, welcome back to Pod of War, the podcast from us losers on the UF Gizmo channel. This is week 2 of 2021, and I'm yet again joined by Massive Dash Chris Mengele.
Hello everyone.
And this week, a special guest, which is not really a guest, he'll probably just end up being on every podcast now, but it's the Lankster, CW Lanky, Craig.
The reigning, defending Bramwell's champion.
Yeah, the Bramwell Season 1 champion. So guys, how's it going?
Is Craig like the Goldberg of this? We've had to bring him in to get the views.
Yeah, we've really had to get ratings up. We've had to go to the old champs, you know. Craig's Nitro days are long gone, but here we are.
Obviously, the viewers didn't see my entrance, but I did come storming through the door with, an escort. So
not with like a fluffy cat or anything.
No.
This a little bit less masculine. So on Brand Wars, before we get too far, we record Brand Wars in like a huge block, and there's this little thing called COVID that's happened since the last recording block. So in 2 episodes' time, there's not going to be an episode for like 6 months. So just, if you're here for the wrestling stuff, I'm sorry. Okay? Sorry. So, Pod of War. We're back. Me and Craig have actually been watching and listening to some of the older editions of Pod of War just to see how the world has changed. Craig, what do you think?
Some of them are really good, listening back to some of the old ones.
Okay,
it's so funny listening to your predictions of what you would like and don't like. So when I was watching one earlier, for example, Pengles really was excited about Breath of the Wild and Dave wasn't, and look how that turned out for you both.
Oh. There's a few of those.
There was a few of those, to be fair.
Yeah.
The Days Gone, I think, was exactly the same. Pengles was excited about that, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
So, as Craig,
if that's not on your list, Pengles, then.
So as Craig's alluded, this week, and we've teased it on Twitter, this is the Backlog episode. So it's another timeless pocket of hilarity. So at the end of the year, when we look back on this podcast,
when we've played none of them,
we've played 0 of them, and Craig's bought like no games, but Pengy's bought 45 games, and I'm somewhere in the middle. It'll be fun. So before we get to the backlog, as we've got Pengy here, and I know he hasn't played too much. Pengy, what have you been playing this week?
I played some more Football Manager 2021 Xbox Edition.
Who are you managing at the moment, Pengles? I've lost track.
Right, at the moment I started a new save. I used the random option and it put me at Red Bull Salzburg. So I thought, that's fine, I will manage Red Bull Salzburg.
Another big team in a small league that won't lose any games.
That's quite fortunate, I like that.
Yeah.
How's that going for you? Have you won the Austrian league yet?
Twice in a row now. So I'm going for the win it 3 years in a row achievement.
Ah, so it's lucky then that the computer definitely chose Salzburg for you, Pengy.
Okay.
Could have been anyone.
Yeah.
Could have been TNS. So other than Red Bull,
the weird thing is, on there, and it's on forums and that, for some reason Red Bull Salzburg aren't in the Austrian FA Cup, so they can't win the double.
Shit.
Are they like disqualified for some reason?
I don't know, because it looks like they're actually in the actual, competition in real life. There must be.
Just sports
Have you done something to make you ineligible?
It's sponsored by Monster. That's what it is.
Yeah. So.
As he's done something, as Pengles himself done something. Spent too much money. They've been kicked out. Broken the FFP. Like, God damn it, Pengy. So other than Football Manager, Pengy, have you played any non-PC games?
I played Figment on Stadia.
Right, you're going to have to explain all those words to Craig.
That's a game, I'm sure.
Yeah. So every month on Stadia, the Stadia Pro, you get roughly 4 to 5, like, free games. Obviously, you pay your subscription. And this month was Formula 1 2020, Figment, which I've been playing. What else? Ari and the Story of Seasons, I think it's called, and Hotline Miami. So I started Figment. It kind of reminds me of Psychonauts.
It's heavy praise.
Well, not in
not in the quality, just in the it's a platformer.
In the premise,
right?
No, it's like top-down isometric and you figure out puzzles, but it's in I believe like a young girl's mind. So you're basically a character in her mind.
And how is it?
Doing that? Yeah, it's not bad.
Will it make it to the?
It's not okay.
It's not okay. Will it make it
It's
to the
just below
Penguins
okay, or
game
it's-
of the year next year, Pengy? Do you reckon? Will it survive?
That's okay.
No, okay.
One, because I don't think it's. I think it's a quite. I think it's like 2019, 2018 game.
Ah,
something like that.
But everything's new on Stadia. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah. So been playing that. Bit of that and a Monster Hunter Rise demo.
What were you playing Monster Hunter Rise demo on, Pengy?
Playing on a Switch Lite.
What would you be playing it on now though? Like today, if you were to
Uh,
play it today, what would you be playing it on?
Nintendo Switch.
Ah, so if you
It's happened.
it's happened, yeah. We knew you'd be happy to hear this, Craig. So Pengles has gone and bought a Nintendo Switch full fat system in secret.
Yes.
So we are 10 days into the new year, and Penguin's already bought one console, so that's exciting.
When's the next one happening? So yeah, so Pengu's bought an.
Can we make it out of January?
Well, next week apparently they're coming to pre-order, right? So, how is your Switch, Pengy?
Pretty good. All I did really last night was set it up, and I've played some Monster Hunter Rise more demo on it. I've used 7 of the 14 weapons so far. On the easier quest, you have an easier and like a moderate quest. So, I'm gonna try all 14 on the easier quest. See which ones I like. So, like these 3 or 4, then try the harder quest with like those few, and then go right last weapon for me, and that'll be the one I use when the full game comes out.
Nice. Yeah, I played the demo. I thought it was okay. I mean, I as I've said to you off camera, like I just never stick to those games. So it's like I just can't justify buying it. I really can't. Like I've got Monster Hunter World on 2 consoles I can play now, and I don't. So, but it's a good game, and it's definitely an improvement on Generations, and probably an improvement over World because of the whole like riding shit you can do, and the like Spider-Man thing that you've got now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't justify paying the big bucks for that because it ain't gonna get played, is it? Let's be honest. Well, that was Pengy. So Pengy's bought a console, played a Stadia game, and played Football Manager. So that's good. That's a good week.
So what's happening with the light then, Pengy?
It's already been sold.
Oh, it's long gone. He's actually broke even on it as well, which is quite impressive.
Yep. I got exactly what I paid for it. So
there's going to be a segment on this one day, like when I can be asked to make like theme tunes called the Pengles Deals, and
Timelines.
It's gonna have Chris's little face just come across the screen and just say Pengle Deals, and then he's gonna do his deals of the week, not deals for like other people.
I think it should also have like his face getting happier the more he enjoys the
yeah.
Switch, and then when he turned on it, getting angrier and angrier.
So when we get to the
and
Switch,
back up again,
the second the
Monster
Switch
Hunter
Pro
comes
gets
out.
announced.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, and then he has to buy another one. So that's
Which should be number 4?
Oh, 6, 8, 12. One a year,
be
innit? It's like
any number.
like a dentist appointment. You've got to do at least every 6 months. Oh, Chris. He knew, I think he knew as soon as he bought that Switch, he knew he was doing a podcast the next day, and he knew this was going to happen. He was like, shit. Anyway, what have you been playing, Craig?
So I have been playing Little Nightmares, which is a Games for Gold game for January. But I ended up buying the complete edition for, I think it's about £6, because you got 3 DLC packs in it.
So they get you. They get you.
Yeah, it is. I think the second one's coming out in a couple of months, so it's all part of their grand plan, and it's take your money, which is smart. It's decent, to be fair. Sorry, it's kind of like Inside, but it's kind of like 2.5D. As opposed to just being straight across the screen.
Too
so
scary
it's not very long.
Too scary.
I think you'd be okay. It's not. It's kind of set in horror, but it's not actually a horror game.
It's creepy, right? Isn't that its thing? It's kind of like creepy and unsettling.
Yeah. It's a little bit, but I think you'd be fine.
I'm a big wuss.
You've played Resident Evil games, you'd be fine.
Yeah, that's true. I have, so it's fine. But
there's no like jump scares or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of unsettling.
Yeah, it's quite easy achievements as well.
Yeah, I think I played it on PlayStation.
Yeah, there's 3 DLCs you can get, which are all 400G, and they're easy 400Gs for each one of them. So
that's the other segment. That's the Chivos with Craig. That's the other segment. That's coming near the end of the podcast. So no, and obviously today we started Hivebusters. Craig, we played 2 chapters of Hivebusters on Experienced. I think we played it on. It's a pretty ass game.
It is, yeah. It's pretty. it's amazing how well it runs as well.
Yeah, even so, I've got
the amount of explosions and
oh yeah, and obviously
shot
Craig
grenades
has
that
a
were
Series
going
X
off.
because obviously he hasn't been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Craig has a Series X because he is Mr. Xbox. He will not have any. He dabbled with the PS4 for all of a month, and he regretted his decision, and now it's unadulterated Xbox from now on out. He lashed himself
Total
4 times,
Xbox.
and he was just like, "Phil, take me back," and here we are. But yeah, Hypebusters is pretty cool. I was surprised that it's kind of funny, which is different for Gears. I mean, it's always had like undertones of humor, right? But like, these characters are trying.
I thought Gears 5 were quite funny.
Mm.
In a way.
I didn't like
especially
Gears 5 that much.
Big Raoul. And
Yeah, Raoul Cooley's character
Marcus,
was hilarious,
JD.
and yeah, I think it's just the main characters in 5 are like too serious.
Yeah.
Like Kate
and Dale were just
too serious.
awful. Yeah. They were very like cookie cutter, almost like Star Wars sequel characters.
Yeah, there is a lot of
they're there for the plot.
Daisy
they're
Ridley,
not really.
John Boyega comparisons to those two characters, but
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
other than that, Craig's have just been Little Nightmares and Gears Hypebusters.
Yeah, I finally finished Watch Dogs at the start of the week.
Nice, Watch Dogs Legion, yeah.
Which is a game that I bought on. Yeah, so I bought it at launch and then only just finished because it was broken and a buggy mess, which Ubisoft.
Nice.
That is okay. I'm going to use the paintball scale of okay.
From
I
the
wouldn't
shit
say go out
okay
and buy
to
it.
masterpiece Penguin scale.
Yeah. The Sith. Yeah. No, it's okay. It's fine. If it comes to Game Pass, it's not that I'd play it, but I wouldn't go out the way and buy it unless you really want to play it.
Yeah, and the truth
Unless
is,
you're a Watch Dogs fan.
and you've already bought it if you're a Watch Dogs fan, aren't you? But like, the truth is, the Ubisoft games will always go on sale. So just you can wait. Like, even though we all buy them, they all go on sale for like silly cheap after like a year. So nice. So you've had a productive week then, Craigo.
Oh yeah, and it's only going to keep going that way.
Because you're on holiday. So next week I'm expecting you to basically anchor the show with what you've been playing. That's
a massive list. I get my
assignment.
manuscript out and just start reading.
Yeah. You just literally get your achievement list down and be like, right, so 1 to 6,000. Did that on Monday. Lovely. Boosh. Got another one.
He's going for the
I do a timetable.
Gamer School reward program at the moment.
Yeah, Craig's going to be a Hall of Famer by the end of the week, I think. Yeah. He's overtaking you. That's the plan for this week. He's going to play some Ratalika games literally every day. He's going to get 10,000 a day. That's Craig's challenge. I'd love it. Anyway, so to me, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So to join the Ubisoft trail, I've finished the main game. I've done the optional areas. I have 2 optional bosses to do. I think it's taken me 84 hours, something like that. It's a really good game. If you like the other new Assassin's Creed games, you will love Valhalla. If you haven't played them, it's worth starting with Valhalla, because the only thing that's kind of confusing, the real life story stuff, is literally a sequel to the Odyssey DLC. So some of the characters I was like, okay, I mean, I looked up, I was like, oh, it's literally the Atlantis DLC. That's like the story you need to play Valhalla and really give a shit. But take Layla and her real life stuff away, it's a rad ass Viking simulator. So if you like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, play fucking Valhalla. Need I say any more, bitches?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think there's much actual real life stuff in Odyssey. I think
there's not in Valhalla. It's like
there,
the end of the game and like one mission in the middle, and that's like it.
I think they finally realised that no one cares about that.
Yeah, and the people, it's in there for the 10 people that care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally like, you don't have to watch this cutscene if you don't want to.
No.
It's all kind of bullshit. But anyway, that's Valhalla done. Other than that, this week I'm still playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm about 12 hours in. That game's great. Craig would hate it, but it's good ass anime
got to the
Japanese
time
goodness.
Jump, yeah.
No, I'm on chapter 12, and I think I'm very close to the time jump.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, so I will probably be at the time jump by the end of tonight.
So you will have decisions to make soon.
I will have decisions to make soon, I know, and I'm looking forward to them because the characters are so good in that game. But yeah, that's also on my Switch that I've had since 2017. I haven't sold any of those. But
doing it all wrong, bitch.
I know. But that's what we've been playing. It's truncated, obviously, because there's 3 of us, and Pengos is looking deeply at a draft in the background. So
No, it's not my turn, I don't think. I haven't looked.
So we'll move on to Chris's favourite segment of every week. It's the topic of the show, Chris. What's the theme song for the topic of the show?
I haven't got a topic. Oh, no. I haven't got a song. Sorry.
Just
He
constant.
literally had one job in this whole podcast.
He has been writing one all week. It's the tots. Topic of the show.
Okay.
So, topic of the show, as we've put, you'll see from the title and the lovely thumbnail I've made in 12 seconds, that it's backlogs, because it's that time of year. There isn't a lot out at the minute, so we're going to talk about backlogs. So that I gave strict rules, because you have to give strict rules with Chris Pengelly. So I said 5 games that didn't come out in 2021 that you already own. You're not going to go and buy specifically to be backlog games, Chris. So we'll start off with the devil himself, Mr. Chris Pengelly. So let's pick a game, Chris, from your backlog. If you've got any honourable mentions, chuck them in. That's not a problem.
I'll get to the honourable mentions later, because just in case one of you bring them up. I've got mine in alphabetical order, because
Look at this.
That's just me.
One man.
So my first of my 5 is Cyberpunk 2077.
That was one of my predictions for Pengals.
So obviously that game's come out. It's come out.
They say mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Obviously on PC when it reviewed, it was in the 94s or something on Metacritic. Then console reviews came out and it went all the way down to like 70 odd. That's kind of why it's in the backlog. I bought it, like I mentioned in the last episode about the game sharing, how I had Valhalla and Call of Duty, so I bought Cyberpunk in like sort of like the deal, if that makes sense.
Pengals deals, Carol.
Pengals deal. So I could play it now, but obviously it sounds like it won't be finished, or at least the Xbox like One version won't be finished till February. So if I'm going to play it, it will most probably be then, or even wait until the next gen version comes. Again, have access, smart delivery, so I want to play it just to see what all the fuss is about, because obviously when it first went up, reviews on PC, it sounded really good, and then all the talk went to, this game looks like shit. And it's like, kind of want to see what it's like.
It's weird as well, because on the TA awards, it was like 3, I think. And that's obviously mostly console players, so if you look at reviews for that, they're always saying it's like an unplayable mess, but there's clearly somewhere in between.
Yeah, so Pete's playing it on Xbox One S at the minute, and I'm going to get Pete on the show soon to talk about it, because I'm genuinely intrigued. But he says because obviously it's been patched like 3 or 4 times, and he said it's fine. The frame rate is like between 20 and 30, which isn't great, but he says it's no more buggy than a Bethesda game. You know what I mean? This is that kind of level, or an Ubisoft game. It's that kind of thing where it's a big open world game. Like, I think for us 3, I don't think we'd have a problem, because obviously you guys are playing on Series X, and I'm playing on Series S, and a lot of the problems are from loading, just the way the game loads. So we shouldn't have too many problems. It is still buggy.
And on Series X, you got a quality mode and a frame rate mode.
Yeah.
The frame rate mode is supposed to be 60, but I've seen from videos it's dropped to the 40s. So most probably play it on quality mode. It'd be a solid 30 frames, not differ from that, and look pretty good as well. It's just, I know it's going to be fixed. It'll get better in
it's worth waiting for the Series X version.
And it can get better again with the next gen version. So that's why it's in the backlog. And then I'm like, kind of want to play it to see what it is all about.
Now the question is, will you finish it? Because obviously there may well be a forfeit if we don't. If for the person who achieves the least amount of these 5 games, Chris, I should have told you that as well.
Yeah, sure.
He's desperately changing his list now, scribbling things out.
He's like, my name is Mary too.
Googling Ratalica. What's coming out soon?
That was when I said news. Like the Vita and the EU's like finally being killed off totally.
It'll never die in our hearts, Chris, and that's all that really matters. In our hearts, the Vita will always live on. It will
live on in your past podcast. Definitely.
What's going to happen is that when it does officially die, I'm going to put a 1-minute silence memoriam at the start of every episode. And it's just gonna have the Vita and then just silence for a minute. But so that's Chris's first one, Cyberpunk. Is Cyberpunk on your list, Craig? So you haven't bought it yet, I don't think, right?
No, it's not on my list.
No, it's not on mine either because I haven't bought it. So Yes, that's one out of the way without everyone else having it. So I'll go next just to change it up, just because I've got a Nintendo Switch, so I could literally list like 40 games that I own that I haven't played. By the way, I just want to say that I've got a problem. I admit it. I admit it. But the first one is going to be Paper Mario and the Origami King. The first of the many RPGs that are going to be on this list. I absolutely adore Color Splash, which is the one that came out on the Wii U. Craig's played it, he knows. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick this up for my birthday. And then the fucking COVID happened, and I just had no will to play anything fun for the first couple of months, as I was doing 50, 60-hour weeks. So, yeah, it's one of those games I want to get back to it this year. As we'll see with the rest of my list, it might be difficult with the length of the games. But I want to get to Origami King on the Switch. So, obviously, have you played that at all, Pengy?
I haven't. I don't actually have it. It's a game that I wouldn't mind picking up on the Switch, but I don't have.
Did you play Color Splash?
I've played some Color Splash.
Okay. Did you like Color Splash?
What I've played, I've liked a bit.
I think Craig would actually like it as well, weirdly.
Bought it way after it came out. Cause when they come out after the Switch, or really close to the Switch.
It was October 2016.
Yeah, well, I missed it, and I bought it like cheap from Game when they were selling off like Wii U games, and so I've played it briefly, but
it's worth playing. It is worth playing. Obviously, again, Craig has no Switch or Wii U, so he's got no
idea.
He's got no input. Paper Mario is like a turn-based RPG sort of adventure game. It's really funny. So again, you probably would actually quite like it. It's Mario, so it's not like it's anime or anything. There's plenty of anime to come though, Craig. Don't worry. So let's move on to the big dog. Let's move on to Mr. Game Pass, Craig Warren. So what's on your list, Craig?
So I'm gonna get I've got a Penguins pick here.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get it out of the way early. So this isn't a game. This is DLC.
Oh,
I own.
You dirty bitch.
But I would say this is good enough to be a standalone game. I'll throw that out there.
Oh no!
So this is the Blood and Wine expansion for Witcher 3. I played Witcher 3 when it came to Game Pass. Absolutely loved it.
As a standalone expansion.
There we go. See, I knew Penguins would save me. Yeah, he'd come up with some nonsense that would save me.
They actually no. They weirdly the Witcher with its 2 expansions. They treat them like old school PC. So like little bits of DLC was free, and then like here's proper expansions like you used to get back in the day on PC games.
Yeah. So I've done the first one, which is the smaller of the 2. I think that's like the 10-hour one. I think this is the big kind of 40-hour in its own little area.
It's got its own
Gwent pack. Yeah.
It's got to get the Gwent pack in there, Craig.
Oh, I love some Gwent, as you know. So yeah, I'm just waiting for it to be Series X enhanced, and then I'll probably jump back into that because more Witcher 3 is always good.
Yeah, I mean we've tried. I mean it's not on my list. Spoiler for you now, it's not on my list, okay? Because I can't promise it anymore. Every year I promise it to you, Craig. Every year I go, yeah, man, Witcher 3, dude, and then nah. So I'll play it on my own terms. But I played like 30 hours of that game, and I really enjoyed it. It's just it's another game that hangs on, and I just don't have the patience anymore. Like, I can't believe I got as far through Valhalla as I did, really, because you know what I'm like for like just.
I wasn't expecting either of you to finish that game, to be fair.
We both have, so there you go. Got the new consoles, got to play something on it. But yeah, Witcher 3. I think Blood and Wine is Tucson, right? It's the one that's really like colourful and like really pretty. Yeah. So I imagine the next gen version of that, which will just be the high end PC version, will probably look ridiculous on a Series X. So nice, right. Let's get to what we all want. Pengy, pick 2, go.
This is a Switch game. It's Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
So explain for the viewers what Age of Calamity is, Pengy.
Age of Calamity is sort of a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and it's sort of a semi-sequel to the first Hyrule Warriors game. Obviously, it uses the same title, but it's not like a continuation of like that game. It's just the same thing. It's the Warriors, or Muso, you can use the Japanese term, where you've got your main characters, so Link in this case, or even Princess Zelda, and you have like 100 enemies on screen, and you just attack all 100 enemies, like, and do all your power-ups, and there's normally a boss on the map, and you go defeat the boss.
So is it like Dynasty Warriors but Zelda?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it sounds like.
It's exactly
That's
what
what
it
it
is.
Okay.
It's the people that make Dynasty Warriors.
Okay, I can accept that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And also those ones like always seem to be really good. Like the Dynasty Warriors games are getting worse like every year, but the spin-offy type ones like this are getting like better. They seem
That's
better.
because Nintendo literally stands at their office with a shotgun and tells them if they screw it up in any way, death will happen. But yeah, Tecmo Koei's games, the Horror Warriors games and the Fire Emblem Warrior game is actually legitimately really good. And Age of Calamity is a bit different because it's a bit more open worldy. It's actually quite a long game. I think it's like 60 hours from how long to beat.
It can be that long.
It can be. It won't be. It
It
won't be that
can
long.
It won't be.
It won't be that long.
It's got it all planned out.
You'll be using Amiibo every day to make his level go up.
Oh yeah.
It's actually on my list. It's not on my list, but it is a game that I do own that I haven't played because it's one of the Christmas shenanigans. So eventually I will get to it, but I make no promises to anyone.
It originally wasn't on my list. Obviously, going back to earlier about me getting another Switch. Obviously, I've had it for a while. I've played it on my Switch Lite, and the frame rate is absolute.
Yeah, it's
horrendous.
like 12 on
see-
multiplayer as well.
You can't see what's going on. It's impossible to see what's going on that screen because it's so small. So I expect the frame rate is still awful playing it on the Switch on the TV. But at least you can actually see, what's happening. But it's like, what's happening? This game is like unplayable. I remember
It
that.
sounds like what you need is a Switch Pro or something like that would be ideal at this sort of time. Wouldn't it?
When that eventually gets announced, like next week.
They did
Tomorrow, I'm hoping. Personally.
They did actually do that with the 3DS. Hyrule Warriors was on the 3DS as well. It ran like past
Hyrule Warriors Legends. It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. And it
Yeah,
always runs
and then
badly
you had
in co-op anyway. In every version of the game.
Had a new 3DS, otherwise it was pretty bad.
Oh yeah, on the original 3DS, Legends runs at like 9 frames a second. I think it doesn't run that much better on the new, but yeah, it's pretty bad. Nice. Well, it's good to see some Zelda goodness from Pengy. Obviously, it's a prequel to his favorite Zelda game, so I imagine the reviews are going to be great from the big dog. From the big dog.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go anime in my next one, Craig. So prepare yourself. And I'm the only one that's actually got the games, because why not? Going for Persona 5 Royal. There we go, in the shot. So, when we used to do the podcast back in the day, me and Chris were very excited for Persona 5. Like, unreasonably excited for Persona 5, some would say. And I pre-ordered it. I got it on the podcast, if I remember right. There's an episode where it, like, arrives, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is great shit. But I think I played, like, 25 hours and then just fell off a cliff. It just didn't click with me at all. Like, the characters... I just completed 4. So I was so in love with the characters in 4 that I just couldn't get this connection to 5. And there was a couple little bits of game that I didn't really like. So that was 3 years ago, I think. So when I picked up Royal not too long ago on a recommendation from friends, basically. Like, you have to play this version. It's so much better. Okay, fine, whatever. So I picked up pretty cheap. It's probably going to be the next game I play, if I'm honest. It's like 120 hours. Like, it's about 100 hours minimum to beat it, I think. So that it's going to be a test. It's going to be a real test of this, the integrity of this competition here for me to try and beat this game. But and it's on the PlayStation as well, so... If Craig doesn't see me for long stretches of time, he knows why. He's just calling my name out on the Xbox party chat. Yeah. But yeah.
I was tempted to put it on my list, but obviously without having a PS4 or PS5, I can't even play it. So
it's
only a matter of time, though, isn't it, Pengy?
I'm sure it'll look great on the PS5, Pengy, to be fair.
And obviously I talked about it last week a bit about, like, playing Persona 5 regular for like 120 hours and then having to play Royal for like 110 to get like the new 30 hours of content. It's a bit like it's all new content.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. The first palace is like pretty much all I've done, maybe the beginning of the second one. That's why when it came out we said it should have been DLC. And I still stand by it should have been DLC. They should have offered both versions. You should have been able to upgrade your original version to the Royal version for like 20 quid or something, but
transfer your save so you could go straight to the end.
Yeah, or something like that. But
But then you would miss the Doctor character during the 100 hours if you wanted to hang out
Yeah,
with
and I'm
him.
told like there is actually combat changes and stuff. It's not like a straight like
The
it's not
combat's
just
way even more fluid.
Yeah, I've heard that it is like it is
It's
an
like the
improved
best combat
version of the
system
game.
I've played in like JRPGs, and obviously the hook and stuff. It's really good. I do agree with you. Persona 4 has the better characters than 5. Characters definitely better in 4. But I would say the story, the gameplay, like the art style, everything else is better in 5. But the characters definitely better in 4. Especially like I've watched both the animes as well, so obviously don't have the gameplay aspect and that. And it's like, yeah, these characters are much cooler in 4 than they are in 5.
Yeah, I have that anime on DVD because I'm a fucking grown ass man. But yeah, I look forward to playing Persona 5 Royal. I've actually been pretty excited about that for a while. Obviously, Craig has so much to add to this as a die-hard
I'm sure it's
JRPG
great.
anime PlayStation fan. So
Yeah, I'm sure it's an experience.
so obviously Persona 5 Royal is on your list, Craig, but we won't count it.
Royal was the highest rated game of 2020.
It was the highest rated game of last year. Yeah, Persona 5 Royal was.
There you go.
So we'll see if it's. I suspect I'm going to like it, but we will see if I don't murder everyone at work first. So Craig, pick number 2.
So all mine now would just be Game Pass games, basically.
Let's all be shocked at once.
Yeah. I don't actually have it written down, so I'm just gonna pluck stuff out.
He's loaded his Xbox off.
So I'd put Resident Evil 7 in. Not really played much Resident Evil previously, but the reboots of 2 and 3 I enjoyed a lot. I know it's slightly different because it's first person and it looks absolutely terrifying, which I think is the main reason I haven't played it, because I'm scared to death of it.
Yeah, fuck that.
So this might be one where I sit in a party chat with you, Dave, and you kind of cuddle me and
only if you stream
make me
it.
feel safe.
Only if you stream it. That's the only way.
I think you had to listen to me playing 2 and listen to the screaming and the terror there. So
yeah, it was pretty fun.
I can only imagine this is worse.
It was actually scary for me.
I only imagine this would be worse.
So I'm like,
Because you didn't like seeing.
didn't you play this in VR, Craig? Penguin?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Fuck that. Yeah. It looks terrifying enough as it is.
I still think I played 7 in VR, but obviously they had the kitchen demo. For 7, I would say the kitchen demo in VR was scarier than the actual 7.
Really? Well, obviously Penguin's made of harder stuff, so it doesn't phase the big dog. It doesn't phase him at all. He's like, zombies, fuck you, innit?
Yeah, because in the kitchen demo you get like stabbed to death and stuff.
Yeah, I've through my fingers watched someone play the kitchen demo, and I was like, no,
Not for me.
Not for me. I'm going to stick to happy anime games. I've played the Persona games. I know that they're not happy anime games. Nice. That's an interesting one. Again, as we've said last week, and as I continually say on this podcast, Game Pass is the greatest thing in games. Like, I know as a man sat in an Xbox hoodie, but I've got PlayStation trousers on. Okay, I'm agnostic. This is a PlayStation headset, so, but like, Game Pass is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous value. So, wicked. Nice. Pengy, I presume you're going to be joining us on the Game Pass train.
My next game is on Game Pass,
Right.
Ooh.
but I actually own it.
Of course.
And it's Nier Automata.
I thought you'd played this.
I have played it, but I've not finished it.
Because this is the game with about 27 endings.
Yeah, so didn't you play the
22.
first ending?
No, I haven't even finished
Okay.
the first run yet. So there's 27 endings, but only 5 are canon, so you do have to finish the game 5 times at least.
Yeah.
But you play as different characters. So
It's not. It's weird that they name it like endings, because they're not really endings. Like, because I've watched. I don't want to spoil. I haven't spoiled myself, but I've watched enough to know that it's basically like ending 1 is like chapter 1 of a normal game. It would be chapter 1, and then ending 2 is chapter 2. It's not really like, I don't know why for some reason
You're not replaying the whole game, are you? I don't think.
Not really.
No,
There's bits of levels, but they're like different. It'd be like if you played one level as me, and then you played another level from your perspective, and then another level from Pengos' perspective, and then there's new levels as well. It's a very fucking weird game, to be honest with you, Craig. It's kind of hard to explain.
Sounds very Japanese, yeah.
It's so weird. It's really fourth wall breaking as well, which is kind of rad. and it's the guys
Yeah.
at Platinum Games, so it's like the best. It's like Devil May Cry good combat, like it's that type of game.
Yeah. What reminded me this week in the news, someone actually found a cheat after like 4 years from like it first came out to PlayStation. That was in the game, actually in the game proper. And
Yeah,
not
it's
like
his last secret, right? The Yakutaro.
Yeah, which basically gets you like the last canon ending, I believe, the 5th ending. I believe it takes you straight to that, so
Yeah.
you skip everything. So I saw that in the news, and I thought,
I've wondered what you're about. I'll do that.
no.
That's on my list.
In April, Nier Replicant comes out, the remaster of Replicant, which is the
Japanese version of Nier, just to really confuse Craig.
It's the Japanese version of the PS3 Nier.
Yeah.
So in Japan you had 2 versions. You had Nier Gesalate, something like that.
Genesis.
Which was on 360. Yeah.
Nier Genesis.
No, it's Geslat. I think it's not Genesis.
Nier 360 and Nier PS3.
Yeah.
They were the same game with a
had...
different character.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So in Japan, you had 2 versions. You had the one on the 360 where you play as an old Nier, and you play as a young Nier in the PS3. In the West, we only got the 360 version. It came to PS3 as well, the 360 version here. But this is a remaster of the Japanese PS3 one. We play as a young Nier.
Yeah.
Is it in English or is it?
Yes.
It
was
in English originally as well, so it's just weird that they. All it is basically your character is an old guy with a daughter in the 360 version, and in the proper version you're a young dude with a sister. That's literally the difference.
Also, it gets a bit Game of Thrones, let's just say, with the young dude and the sister, which
incest is best.
Japan, gang.
I might be wrong on that, but I believe that's why.
You're kind of wrong. But I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Yeah, but obviously, like, when it came to PS3 over here, we got the 360, Japanese 360 version. And the remaster comes out in April, which is obviously set before Automata. So, I don't know if I'm going to play Replicant first, and then play Automata.
So, it's set before Automata. There is one...
So 3,000 years
There is one character in Automata that is a character in Replicant.
I'm gonna guess it's Pascal, but I'm not.
I can't remember the character's name. I think it could well be his name.
Something like that. But yeah, there's a huge gap. There's 1,000 years gap. But it's like it was just on my mind, and it's like, yeah, I really need to get back to that game because what I play is really good, and everyone says it's like brilliant as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I thought it might be on your list, Dave.
No, I thought about putting it on my list, but. What is my girlfriend doing? Okay then.
She crawling across the floor? That's what it looks like.
I don't know. She's fiddling with like cables. I don't know. Anyway, is it whose turn is it now? Is it yours, Craig, or is it mine?
Yours.
It's mine. Obviously, Amanda's distracted me. So I'm also going to go for a Game Pass game, but I have it physically as well because I'm a madman. Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, right. I like JRPGs. What can I say? I just don't ever complete them. So Final Fantasy 15 came out, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago. Chris, you'll be able to correct me.
Yeah, about that.
And it's just, I think I got to, I want to say like chapter 6, because when it first came out, chapter 13 was like kind of crap.
Yeah,
because I remember because I was playing it with you and John at the same time, and you guys were both like, yeah, 13's shit, but they're patching it. So I was like, I'll wait for the patch, and then time passed and it completely fell out of my my direction. I started playing something else, and it's one of those open world RPGs. Again, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I don't know what my mission is. I don't know who I am. All I know is I'm some pretty boy band. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much. Noctis Ignis. Fucking.
Yeah.
Penguin speaks fluent Japanese.
Konnichiwa, Penguin-san. So I like haven't played it. And there's a lot of DLC. That's the DLC version is on Game Pass.
It's a gold edition or something like that.
It's the like royal edition or something, right? So it's like everything. It's got the multiplayer as well, and it's weirdly of the JRPGs that we talk about today is the most Craig JRPG. If Craig was going to play our JRPG, it would be Final Fantasy 15 because it's not anime at all, really. It's like a big open world. The combat's real time. It's not turn based. It's like big fucking like mission based monster shit. So, yeah, I was really excited for that game when it came out, and then just completely stopped because of the recommendation of you guys. Because I remember you saying, Chris, like 13 was like actually like painful.
Yeah.
Chapter 13.
Yeah, it was obviously they've patched it. So it's basically you lose all your weapons and stuff like that. And you just go down to corridors for like 4 hours. It's just this grey corridor, and it's like it's just boring as hell.
The irony of a Final Fantasy game having Chapter 13 be the boring corridor game is not lost on me, okay? Because Final Fantasy 13 is a boring corridor and it's trash. And I will fight anyone to the death who tells me Final Fantasy 13 is not trash, because it's trash.
It's not trash.
It's trash. Anyway.
It's not trash.
So after with Amanda's distracting cable shenanigans behind us, I think it is Craig's turn again.
It is.
Professional.
So, what else did I have? Oh, let's go for. I think Dave would probably punch you if I didn't say this. Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Especially as I am peak Star Wars at the moment.
Yeah.
I think I watched half of Empire Strikes Back last night. I'm going to watch the other half of it tonight. Just watched Mandalorian and all that sort of stuff. So I'm all about the Star Wars at the moment.
You literally
I think the only thing that's
that game.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's ever put me off is the Dark Soulsiness of it.
I've played it. I've played it and I hate Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So
I think the fact that I don't have to buy it is obviously
yeah.
That kind of seals the deal. You know, the idea of paying £30 or whatever for a game and then hating it, it's just like nah. But as it's on Game Pass, I'm sure I will give it a go now.
Yeah, and then you won't hate it. Like you will genuinely love it. It's just a fantastic. Because even on the normal difficulty, it's challenging, but it's not like it's challenging, but it's your fault. It's not like Dark Souls where it's just like jumping out and fucking murdering you. It's like
it's always like tells you what to do and stuff. That's what I kind of don't get about those games. It's just like, what am I doing? Why? How? I'm dead.
The hardest thing about that game is the map is kind of hard to navigate the first time you open it because it's a 3D map. So you're kind of like,
right,
where am I going? But then after like an hour, you're like, oh, cool, this means this means this, wicked. Like I know what I'm doing. The combat is so good in that game. Like using a lightsaber is like so much fun in that game. Like as soon as you get the like later techniques and you can start doing like parries and shit, you're just like, I'm a fucking badass. Force powers are good as well. Like it's all standard force powers. Your guy isn't like it's not like Force Unleashed, for example, where you're like a fucking Sith Lord or whatever. You're like you're just like a retrained Padawan. The robot is like the cutest character in any game. The robot character you have is like the best fucking character. You want to protect that little bastard like the whole game. You're like, I love him. I love BD1. He's the best. But
I think I've been waiting for. I don't think it's Xbox Series X enhanced yet. So I think I've just been waiting for that. I don't know whether EA will do that or not.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
Yeah,
and
so
plus, to be honest, it's been patched enough now, and you've got the better console. It ran okay on my 1S, but like it'll run sexy and smooth on the Series X, I'm sure. And again, it's not massively long. I think you can I think I finished it with the bonus area in like 15, maybe 20 hours. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Yeah. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's one of those games, and it's a very doable 1,000. It's very doable. Like you could just collectibles aren't even that hard to find, really. They're pretty straightforward. Like that's really the only thing stopping you. Like you don't have to play it on hard. You don't have to like do some ridiculous move. You will naturally get almost all the achievements. So that's a good pick, Craig. It's a solid pick from the Game Pass. The Greencast goodness that is Craig Warren's backlog. So Pengy, what's next?
My next is another Switch game. We're going back to the Switch. But it's actually a Wii game.
Ooh.
It's
not even Wii U.
No, it's Super Mario Galaxy.
This is the closest thing so far to a Chris Pengelly shenanigans pick. Because obviously it's 3 games, the 3D All Stars, Pengy.
It is 3D All Stars. I own Galaxy on Wii, so I could just play the Wii version. But that was my problem with the Galaxy games. Like I've played 64, finished 64. I've done the DS version. I've played Sunshine. I've done Odyssey, 3D Land, 3D World, and stuff like that. But from the 3D Mario games, Galaxies, I've never really played, mainly because they're on Wii. Like I've grown more fond of the Wii, and I have got like fairly substantial Wii collection now. There's games I like on it, but that game you do have to use the Wii mode and that, and I'm not a fan whatsoever. So it being part of All Stars is like decent, because obviously I can use an actual controller for it. So
Yeah,
so I'm
you
planning
still have to
actually
do motion control. I will warn you now.
Yeah, it's not as bad
It's
as
not as
going through the remote or whatever.
yeah, you don't have to waggle to attack, for
You can
example.
just do that with the controller.
But you
can't
will
or
need it
something
for
like
all the motion control levels are still in it, and there is pointer specific things. So when you're playing in handheld, you have to use the touchscreen, and when you're playing in docked, you'll have to use the motion control of a pro controller or the remote shenanigans. But it's less, and it really looks much better on the Switch, because obviously it was a good looking game anyway, and all it is just a 1080p ROM basically, and it looks sharp as hell. It looks really nice on a big TV, so you will enjoy it. It's not a long game as well, so it's one you can definitely knock out in like a good 10 hours and get your enjoyment out of it.
To me, it's pretty much a new 3D Mario game.
It's better than Odyssey in my opinion, so it'll probably be one of your favorites, I would imagine. It's a pretty solid game. Obviously, Craig hasn't Mario'd since 1996, so
it's Mario Kart.
Mario Kart 64. Will Craig buy a Switch?
This is the game that you weren't going to get. No.
Nah.
If I was going to get one, I would have got it when it was double discount Black Friday.
When Penguin sells his one now for £100 when he gets the Pro.
What is like? Oh, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So back to you, Dave.
Back around again. So we're staying in Japan. Craig is just like, why? There's so much on Game Pass. We got another one. It's Gravity Rush 2. Another game that we talked about on the previous incarnation of Pod of War quite a lot, because obviously the first game.
About it last week as well.
I think we did talk about it last week. The first game was on the Vita. God rest it. That we both played. I beat that. Loved it. They did a remaster of PS4, which I actually finished like. Nice. It's a Vita. Get a Vita out. Dusty as hell.
One of many.
One of many. He has got like 6 or something stupid. I played remaster last year, and I was like, man, this world is so cool. So basically, it's like an adventure game platformer. The whole gimmick is you can shift gravity. So if you with the R1 button, you sort of character stops in place, and then where you're aiming, and when you press it again, that's where gravity is. So if you aim at the sky, gravity's flipped, and the whole world around you changes, and your character will fly up towards that gravity. So you can basically, it's like a really interesting way to have like a really crazy platformer, because like worlds can be upside down, or boss fights can be sort of like this crazy dimensional shift, and you're like flying around a screen like hitting shit, and it's just quite a different game, to be honest with you. It's quite wholesome. It's not like, you know, titties everywhere. It's not like fucking Game of Thrones where people are getting fucking stabbed in the face or anything. It's just a chill Japanese like adventure game, really. Didn't sell tremendously well, I don't think. Like none of them do, and it didn't. I bought this game like 2 years ago for about £8 physical, just because I had one of my very many like I'm just going to buy a game days, which happens to me far more regularly than I'd like to admit.
I'd say that's every other day, isn't it?
Well, we all work in retail, and it's a pandemic. What else is there to do? You know, so but yeah, I've been really excited to play Gravity Rush 2 for a while, so I want to get through it this year. It's another one I want to tick off the list, knock it off. I've said it's done, you know, and if they ever do a sequel, I'll be ready. I won't have to fucking blast through a whole series to play a sequel, which I'll get to in a minute. But did you play Gravity Rush 2, Pengy?
I haven't, no. I finished Gravity Rush Remastered last year on the PS4. Yeah, you know, that's good. I've played a bit of... I have started Gravity Rush on Vita. I'm actually playing the Japanese version, so it's Gravity Days for me on Vita.
Nice.
It's got a different trophy list to start as well. It has like separate. It's not a different list, but it has like
it's its own version of the list. Yeah. It's also the first game is not massively long. I think the first game is like 7 or 8 hours. I think you can finish it.
Yeah. I think 2's like double the length.
Yeah, 2 is supposed to be about. And plus 2 has a lot of free DLC. So
yeah, because there's some stuff with Raven. If I remember.
Obviously, yet again, Craig has a lot to add to this conversation about a Japanese PlayStation exclusive. Oh, Craig, I'm sorry.
Just about heard of it.
Yeah. Good. Right, so on to the next one, whoever that may be. Is it Pengy?
It's Craig.
It's Craig
That's
out.
me.
I've completely lost the order. Amanda's thrown me off.
It's all going in rest. So next would be Frame Breaker. I think that's still on Game Pass, which is the standalone
Standalone Gwent.
Witcher game.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved Gwent Witcher. I played so much. So yeah, I really want to play this. I think there is actually story to it.
It's a
It's kind of a
single-player game,
proper
yeah.
campaign. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely want to play that. It looks a little bit different to normal Gwent. It looks like there's only 2 lanes as opposed to 3, which is kind of weird, but I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'm sure it's probably bigger and better than standard Gwent.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's very highly reviewed, which is always a good sign for a game like that.
Yeah. Basically, from what I gather, it's obviously got a full story, but instead of actually you're doing your battles, actual combat, you do your battles with games with Gwent.
which what you want really, isn't it?
I mean, it's probably better than the Witcher 3 combat anyway, if we're honest, guys.
Yeah.
So that just leaves The Witcher 2 then for your Xbox Witcher completion after that.
I think that's a hard game though, isn't it?
I actually enjoyed The Witcher 2 more than I've enjoyed The Witcher 3. Weirdly, it's
linear, or
it's way more linear. It's still like instead of one big open world, it's like this open world. Each chapter is its own little open world. But I really enjoyed it, actually. To be honest with you, it's a game that always goes on sale on backwards compatible for like a couple of pounds. So I genuinely would recommend it. Got shit in my eye now. Should people fancy it? But nice. So Craig is now breaking with the trend and is the hardcore CD Projekt Red fan. So that's
where's Cyberpunk on your
he
list?
hasn't
I
bought
don't
it
own
yet.
it. So
When it comes to when the next gen version comes out, I'm sure Craig will partake.
that is the plan.
That is the plan. The plan.
Yeah.
Right. So Pengy, is this your penultimate? Is this number 4 or is this number 5? It's number 4.
No, this
right?
is the last one. This is the last one, Dave.
Right. Shoot. Go.
So there's one more hope for Days Gone. Is what we're saying.
Days Gone's not on the list because, again, I don't have a PS4 or PS5. If I had a PS4 or PS5, it would have been...
It's a travesty. Absolute travesty.
It's a great game.
It's a joke. I'm logging off.
Because it's like
Fuck it all.
It's sort of enhanced on the PS5, so I might have put it on the list, but it's not. It's Japanese again. It's an RPG again. But
Don't know why I'm laughing.
Xbox. It is on Xbox.
Is it Tales of Vesperia?
No, it's Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Nice. So that's
that was one of the ones I was predicting, to be fair.
This is the 8th game in the Yakuza series.
No, there's more than that if you include the zombie spin-off ones as well.
I do not.
Okay. Yeah, so it's the 8th one. They dropped the 7 over here. They even said to help sell it because it's a new character, new city, and everything like that. So it's basically a start of a new series from the previous 6 or 7, I should say, because you got 0. And also they changed the combat system for this one. On the previous 7, it was like beat 'em up. You go around the city and you come against a mob of characters and they go into combat and you just beat them up. This is turn-based combat in this one, so it's like full-on JRPG. You even have a party system where you have various characters. I've only played the first 3 chapters because I was heavily into the Valhalla, so I've got like an ex-cop guy as my party member and a guy that's like hobo sort of character as well.
I thought you said something completely different for a second then.
Yes, he did. He said he was a homeless man, is what Chris said there.
Let's clear that.
Yeah, so they've got like him. So I'm in like chapter 3, but I plan to go back to that. Is Series X enhanced as well. So just look fairly good. It's not it's not like the best Series X.
It was a launch title, wasn't it? It was a Series X launch title.
It's a next gen Xbox exclusive at the moment, I believe, until March.
It is. Like what I've played is good, but like I said, I just got stuck into Valhalla and not gone back to it. But plan to go back to it, and the rest of the series is on Game Pass. Or at least is it 0, 1, and 2, and 6?
Yeah,
there's more coming.
Everything
as well,
is coming by the end of March, I believe.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
If I do like this one, I might go back and try from Zero again. I didn't like the combat when I played Zero on PS4. That's what sold me like on like a Dragon. When I saw its turn-based combat, I was like, it fixed. Well, didn't. I know people like the combat and thing, but one of my gripes with Zero,
it made it more suited to what you like, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like I like everything else. I like the weird Japaneseness of it, and like you can go like run a hostess club or something like that, or go karting around, and like we go to like a sumo event, or like all the weird Japanese stuff. I just in like the actual gameplay, what I do from what I've played of the 3 chapters so far, is not been much gameplay so far. Like chapter 1's like 2 hours, an hour and 45 minutes of apps cutscenes. So I thought I was playing a Kojima game for a minute.
Oh, if only, right? If only.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Yakuza series is interesting because I think since it's come to Xbox, it's had a lot more eyes on it than, like, certainly Western than I think it was used to. So, like, obviously, me and Craig both watch a streamer that only plays Yakuza pretty much now, and it's one of those series I've been tempted to get into myself for quite a while. We played Zero for a book club episode, Chris, like a couple of years ago with Pete, and I think I played it just after. Well, Pete loved it, and I played it just after Sleeping Dogs, which is obviously the greatest game ever made. So I was like, I'm not gonna. This is not Sleeping Dogs, man. What's this? But yeah, again, like a Dragon will come to Game Pass in like the next year. So I will play
by the end of the year.
Yeah, I will play that game on Game Pass because I'm like Chris. I prefer turn-based RPGs, as the list so far should show. But yeah. Are you tempted, Craig, by Yakuza? Because I know it's something that we've talked about a couple of times.
I think once it comes to Game Pass, definitely.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm surprised it's not on Game Pass already because I don't think it's sold particularly well, has it?
Never done.
But it's a sort of game that you could really see them getting behind on Game Pass and actually getting people into it. So
yeah, I think,
when it comes to Game Pass, definitely.
Yeah, I think you might like the actual like the main Yakuza games because I think Zero, 1 and 2 that's on there now because they are like pure like combat games. They're not like turn-based. They're not RPGs really. They're just like beat 'em ups. Like I think you probably actually quite enjoy the hilarity of them. They're very Japanese, but it's basically Japanese mafia is the best way to describe it. Like it's kind of similar in a weird way. Less guns and Tommy guns and shit. So nice. So I think that takes me to my last pick now.
Yes.
It's a JRPG, Craig. Okay, but it is on Game Pass as well. Okay. So
I was telling you the superior then.
No, but I do own that physically as well. So I've actually played part of this already, but I need to get through more of it. So it is, of course, the Kingdom Hearts collection. I enjoyed my time.
Torture, as it's ever.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed Final Mix. It was torturous in places because it's a 20-year-old game, but I enjoyed it. Chain of Memories is terrible, and I never want to play that game ever again. The card-based one. But I started 2, so I would quite like to get through 2 and is it Birth by Sleep?
Birth by Sleep is very good.
To finish off this collection because Game Pass has all of them now. So I wanted to get. It's a series I've wanted to get into for like 20 years, and the problem before these collections is that it was like one game's on the DS, the next game's on the GBA, and then there's a game on the PSP, and there's a game on the fucking mobile, then there's a game on PS4. So like to have them all in one place and on Xbox, which helps because obviously I prefer playing games on the Xbox because a game like Kingdom Hearts, as Craig was saying, was with Resident Evil earlier, is very much benefited from party chat. So if I can chat to someone else while I'm doing gummy ship missions or I'm grinding Goofy's defense stat up, you know. So I would like to play. I probably will play it on Xbox again. I own them on both because Amanda bought this years ago. So I might end up playing it on the PS4, but I think for sheer moral support, I'll end up playing it on Xbox.
What order are you playing it in? You presume you're playing it in release order. I'm
playing it in release order, yeah. So I didn't start with Birth by Sleep. I started with 1. I've played Chain of Memories. I've watched 358 over 2, and now I'm starting 2.
Okay, cool. Right, just like the 358 over 2 days.
Was a DS game that it's just a movie on this collection. thank God, because
Yeah,
it's
they turned it into a movie.
yeah. It Craig,
That's normal.
you don't even know, mate. Like they just brought out a dancing game or like a rhythm game,
Which is
which is a canonical sequel to 3 DLC.
true.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, if I like this series, this is it, man. Like I'm gonna have to start taking notes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to be like, right, shit. What have I played? Who is this character? What version of this character am I looking at? Like,
it's a very confusing series. That's why they release.
that's why they released a bundle with all of it on one disc.
Yeah, but obviously, like I was saying, do you play it timeline so you can try to make some more sense of it, or do you play it in the release order?
I think you have to do release if you're new, because the first game is so primitive. If I'd started with a more advanced game and then went back to that, I think I'd struggle a lot more to get through it. Like
also, there's no making sense of it, is there? By the sound of it.
No, I mean I've got
just...
quite a high tolerance for like Final Fantasy style multiverse shenanigans, but yeah, you kind of like, why is there 8 versions of one character? And then they try and tell you, and you're like, I don't trust you, and then you walk away. But
it is definitely Nomura at its most.
Yeah,
Nomura.
it's the most. Nomura's the Final Fantasy 7 like art director. He did the remake as well, and he's kind of an out there guy. So yeah.
Some people hate him, some people love him. So.
He's all right. He just loves those anime girls. That's his problem. He loves them. He loves those anime girls. So that's mine. I think, is it Craig's last one now?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Finish this off with another Game Pass then, Craig, because we know that's what's coming.
It is. It definitely is. So I go for Gears Tactics.
Nice.
Absolutely love the Gears games. But obviously haven't played this one because it's not really a Gears game. It's kind of a Gears game, but obviously based around a completely different.
It's a spin-off.
Combat system.
It's a spin-off.
To be fair, it looks good. There's obviously a launch title with Series X. It just, I think if this wasn't on Game Pass, I probably would never play it. It's one of those games. But as it is on Game Pass, it's so easy to play. So it's been installed literally since day one of my Xbox Series X. I just haven't got around to playing it. But yeah, no, it's one that I really want to play. So
especially because you played Halo Wars 2 last year with me, right? So you started to experience.
Yeah, that was real time though, wasn't it? This is even more different.
Yeah, so this is even more turn-based.
More like turn-based,
but it's a good little, you know, it's playing a different type of game in a world you like. It's like, it's kind of interesting. It's like kind of like Yakuza. Like if you don't really like turn-based RPGs and you're a big Yakuza fan, it might be your gateway to Yakuza games, because the whole Gears Tactics XCOM style of game is incredibly popular now, and there's a lot of really good ones. So if you find yourself liking Gears Tactics, it opens up a world of interesting games that you could play from there on out. Stuff like
XCOM 2 is even on Game Pass.
If not, I mean, XCOM 2
definitely was. I think
I have a copy on disc on it of XCOM 2. I think it cost me about £1. Like, it's not an expensive game at all. And obviously, you've got the Banner Saga games. You've got stuff like, you know, if you were going to get a little bit crazy, you got like the South Park game and stuff like that. So, I think you might like Gears Tactics. I played like 2 hours of it, and I was like, it's pretty good. Again, like you, it's been installed on my Series S since day one. I need to get back to it.
I started it on PC when it first came out.
You did?
I did chapter 1 on PC, and then I continued my save on 1X. I've done like the first couple of missions to chapter 2. I haven't played it on Series X yet. But yeah, what I've played, I've liked. It's one of those weird things, as it's on Game Pass and it's an Xbox Stadia game, it's not going to like leave Game Pass.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it's like, it's always going to be there, so I'll get to it eventually, sort of thing. But like, Kingdom Hearts could leave Game Pass tomorrow, sort of. They obviously always give heads up. So obviously, if something's going to leave, it's like, I'll get to this eventually. It's always going to be here, sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things as well. Like, because it came out on PC first. It probably had like a little bit of the wind taken out of its sails as a launch game. If it had not come to PC, which I think it, unless it was for testing, I think they should have just held it and released on everything at the same time. But hey ho, like
they've done the same with Flight Simulator as well, though, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think that was more for technical issues, though, wasn't it? I can't imagine.
And plus, I think Flight Simulator, when it comes to console, it's such a crazy idea to have on console that I think people will be more excited for it. And let's be honest, if it comes out in the next 6 months, there isn't a whole lot else that has a date on Game Pass at the minute for the Xbox Studios. So if they did put that game out like February or something, like it'd make a bigger splash. But yeah, I think that's a good selection of games, I think, from the crew there. Obviously, we've all got our own niches. You can tell very quickly the type of gamers we are from the games in our backlog. Will we complete any of them? I suspect Craig will, and then me and Chris probably won't. I'm gonna do Persona. If it fucking kills me, I'm beating Persona this year. Okay, like.
So you've gone for a lot of long games, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, all I've been playing recently have been long games. It's because I buy them and don't play them, and then all the quick games I beat like Mafia, I beat in like 2 days. I was like, oh, this is great. It's like 6 hours. I was like, fucking A, But that's video games, gang. So I've got a couple of honourable mentions because I was, obviously whittling down from the 160 that me and Chris had talked about before.
Yeah.
No. So we got some. I'm gonna quick fire some here. Got Rise of the Tomb Raider. Played the first one at long last.
Great game.
It was okay.
Playing that on Stadia, yeah.
I will definitely be playing that on 3DS. Another one that everyone's played. Fallout 4.
Great game.
Never played it. This is Amanda's copy. Literally never played it. The aforementioned.
That will be coming back to Game Pass very soon.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I think I own it on PS4 as well. I think it was given away or something. I have it on PS4. South Park, A Fractured Butthole. Butthole. And, of course, Final Fantasy 12, which is the Final Fantasy game that got away because I just never played it when it came out. It was on PS2 when the 360 came out. So I never played it. 12 is different, but it's not 13, which is what Craig's face is looking at. 13 is shit. Can I just emphasize that?
There's one that you were playing that in a party chat once and you were not enjoying.
That was 13. That was 13.
Yeah.
And I hated every second of it. But yeah, has anyone got any honourable mentions off the top of their head?
I've got a few. Mine, you've mentioned it, was Mafia. I picked that up the other day. Xbox was doing like a January sale or end of year sale, so I picked that up. You both really seemed to like it, so I got that. So I got that to play at some point.
I can see you liking that, to be fair.
Yeah, it's good.
I also bought Immortals Phoenix Rising, which I haven't started yet. That I want to, it's one in the backlog.
That's where it's going to stay. That's where that game is going to stay in the backlog.
Yeah. Did we also buy the gold edition of that thing?
Yes, I did buy the gold edition.
When they announce Ubisoft Plus for Game Pass next week, how annoyed are you going to be?
Very annoyed. That was one of the 3 big Ubisoft games I was looking forward to the most out of Watch Dogs, Assassin, and that. But it has obviously got some similarities to Assassins, so I'm going to hold off a bit on that one, but I do want to play it. Hades.
A bit. A long time.
Hades is one I want to get to.
I can't see you liking that game.
That seems like a very Penguins game.
Yeah, it's a good game,
PC,
but I can't see you liking it.
I started on PC, and the problem is I can't be bothered to turn on my laptop to play a game, unless it's Football Manager. So I do have it on Switch.
This is your gaming laptop, yeah?
Yeah.
So big dog.
It's kind of out of date now. It's only got 1050 in it, and obviously we're on the 30 series.
What a joke.
Sell that.
Yeah. Trade that in for a light version.
So Hades is definitely in the backlog, and that's about it that's coming to mind. There's a few things I might go back to, like you keep taking the piss out of 13. I'm quite a few chapters in, and it looks ridiculous.
I'm not taking the piss out of it. I'm being deadly serious. That game's shit. Looks great. It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Gameplay's fucking terrible.
Obviously on Series X has got the auto HDR as well.
So yeah, it's a great looking game, by the way. That's not my problem with it. My problem is that the combat is unbearably boring and terrible at the same time. Have you finished 13?
Auto HDR is great as well.
Have I finished 13?
Yeah.
I finished it on PS3.
On PS3. Was that 11 years ago?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Post Persona, my friend. The games like that are just not good. They're just not good anymore.
Yeah.
I want the review though. and then you can play Lightning Returns.
I've never played Lightning Returns. I've played a bit of 13 too, but not Lightning Returns.
Oh, again, trying to explain to
Is
Craig.
that 13 free?
Yes, Lightning Returns is basically 13
Yeah,
free.
trying to explain like Square Enix to Craig is like,
Yeah,
they
one
don't
of
have
the
a
Kingdom
clue
Hearts
what they're
games-
doing with games, do they? They really
One
don't.
of the Kingdom Hearts games on Days Gotta Plays, Kingdom Hearts 0.2 HD Fragmentary Passage Final Chapter Prologue. That's the full title.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
and it's not like,
Because
yeah, fucking
like-
Square Enix. So any Game Pass things on for you, Craig, that sort of tickle your little fancy that's already out? Obviously, next week we're probably going to talk about games coming in 21. So don't talk about your, the stuff you're looking forward to. Is there anything on there that you kind of like? Oh, you know what? Maybe I fancy from time to time.
I think since I played Ori and the Will of the Wisp, the second one. It's
Yeah.
the second one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Will of the
yeah.
Wisp, yep. Last year, that is now, obviously. I really enjoyed that. I want to go back and play the first one. Even
Blind
though it sounds
Forest.
like it sounds like it's quite a different game, to be fair. But
Yeah, I'm told
That's
it's
probably
like
the
it's
only-
a different type of game.
yeah, the second one's definitely much more of like a Metroidvania sort of thing. It's kind of like Guacamelee and that sort of thing.
It's a great game.
Whereas I think the first ones are more kind of
It's a lot more
platformers.
platformy. Yeah, the first one is quite
Yeah.
platformy. I really enjoyed that game. It's very frustrating,
Yeah, really good.
and I love it because you respawn very quickly. So the
no, I do like games like that.
like I think Chris died like, what did we look? It was like 1,000 times or something, and it's like it respawns in like a second. So it's like it's a pretty. If that's gonna happen to you, then that is the way you want it to be. Like Celeste does the same, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I suppose there's only one more thing we can do. We can recommend one game for each other. We might as well just go from Game Pass because that's the only thing I know we all have. Okay, so I'll let you guys think about this. So obviously, Craig, I'm going to recommend Yakuza 0 because I think he would actually really like it, and he's already said he wants to play Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
If Sleeping Dogs was on Game Pass, obviously, I would recommend that to you, but it's not. So, and for Pengy, Pengy. What could you recommend a man who's played everything? You know?
I was about to say it's a hard thing to think about that. Isn't it?
It's hard. It's like when you look at Pengy in the eyes and you think, what kind of game do I want Pengy to play? I think you should play Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition
Okay.
because I think you haven't played that game since it came out. You like
No.
those type of games,
I
and
do.
it has a lot of new content. So I
It
think
does have also a dog.
it does have a
that
dog with a
smokes
pipe. So
Yeah.
game of the year, whatever year it came out, so I think
It
you
was
should
very
play
good
that.
on 360.
It
Yeah.
was. So I actually already know what Craig's going to say to me, but so Craig, go on, recommend some games.
I'll just do both of you together because Pengles is an enigma in gaming, and he's
Yeah.
his own man. So Doom Eternal, both for you.
I knew it was coming.
You should be ashamed of yourself so you've not played it.
It's on Game Pass now. My excuse was it wasn't
Yeah.
on Game Pass, so it's on Game Pass now. So I guess I don't.
It's
have a
also
choice.
much better than Doom 2016.
Okay.
It's less kind of abilities. You kind of have all the abilities to start with.
You can jump and
It's-
shit now, right? That's like the gimmick.
yeah. There's platforming as well. Yeah, it's okay platforming. It's not
So
great. But
when
it's such a good game.
when you're playing Resident Evil, I will play that as well. That can be how we get each other through those games.
Yeah.
That's my promise to you.
To be fair, it's not a horror game, so you should be.
No, but I'm going to get annoyed at it. So I don't. I like. So it's weird. Like I like first-person shooters, but I don't like first-person shooters. If that makes sense. Like I don't mind playing first-person
Yeah.
shooters, but I don't play them because they're first-person shooters. So it's like Doom is the most first-person shooter game. So
Oh yeah.
I'll see. I'm sure. Like I like Wolfenstein and I like Doom 2016. I think I've recommended Doom 2016 to more people than I've actually played. Like I know like 4 people that love that game because I've recommended it to them and I haven't really played it. So right then, Pengy, this is the big one. What are you recommending for me and Craig that we haven't already been recommended?
I'm going to recommend is a game actually from your backlog. I'm recommending Craig Final Fantasy 15 because it's a JRPG. So Craig don't play many JRPGs, but it's an easy one to get into.
Many.
because-
He's played one. He's played the most anime of them. He's played one. I
Yeah.
think he's played. Hang on, I think I've got it here. He's played Ni no Kuni 2.
Oh, was that not on your list, Dave?
I've got a lot of games, Craig. Okay. I actually have the
It's
first
the
one as well to
easiest.
play, but it's a good pick, Pingy.
It's the it's an easy one to get in because obviously it's got real time combat and it's not that anime. The most anime thing is
The haircuts.
eventually Sid and the haircut.
Yes, there is a mechanic who's very attractive. She's a good-looking woman. There's a lot of great
I think
polygons.
that sounds like Devil May Cry. The latest Devil May
Yeah,
Cry.
actually, yeah, kind of similar characters to Devil May Cry
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Pengu's
similar
right.
art
If you're going to
style.
play a JRPG, it is the one JRPG I think you would actually quite enjoy.
And then if you like that, you then obviously Game Pass has other ones on there, so it's like the gateway one to get into. For you, Dave, I'm gonna tell you to play. Tell me why.
Oh.
That's a pick.
Wow. Okay. Tell me why is it Don't Nod?
It's do not, and
Yeah.
that's
It is.
basically why. Life is Strange
Which I've never
is an
played.
in-game. Like, that yeah,
Is
I
it
know
not in Game
that.
Pass?
Life is Strange is an in-game pass, I believe.
It's the sequel in Game Pass.
I don't think either of them are now.
Craig's the man in the know. I thought they were.
I don't know. They definitely have been at some point. I don't know if
Yeah.
they still
I
are.
don't think they are anymore.
Okay, well, tell me why then. I will.
Hence-
Tell me why I should play.
hence-
Tell me why, Pengy.
Hence why I'm recommending you Tell Me Why, because it's a one of those games and sort of games like interactive experience, I guess is the best way to describe it.
What you're telling me is
Because
easy achievements. That's what you're telling me. So I'm in.
there is easy achievements.
I'm coming for your
Like,
thousand.
I think it's got 1500. I think
Yeah,
I
it
got
does.
1425.
It does, yeah.
I'm missing one achievement from it.
I think I'm missing one. I think there's one for getting both endings or something like that. Is that right?
Got one of there's like
Playing
4
it
different
twice?
endings.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
There's 4 different endings, and I am missing one achievements. I would, like I said, would have gone for Life is Strange if that's still in there. That instead, but tell me why.
I
it's the
think
one in
I've
there.
installed that game like 4 times because I do own it on Xbox, and I think
Yeah,
I've.
I think for
It's not-
Dave's sanity, Tell Me Why is probably a better
I
pick.
genuinely think I've
I think it's a
installed
better
Life
game
is Strange
than Life
like
is
3
Strange.
times, and I'm like, every time someone tells me about it, I'm like, I just can't press start. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
You don't want to
but-
play it yourself. You just want to watch Ray's playthrough. That's the
Yeah,
best way
absolutely.
to
His
experience
is
Life
pretty
is
funny.
Strange.
His
And see, Tell Me Why was an Xbox published game as well. So
yeah, it's a
Good for the
sort of
Xbox
exclusive.
exclusive.
Still exclusive to
Yeah.
Windows and stuff. So
Yeah.
nice.
So
Nice. That is quite a lot of games for us all to play. Obviously, we'll have all finished them by next week, so we'll talk about. I think most
I might
of
finish Cat.
I think most of mine are going to take longer than a week. Craig's now got a cat to attack him,
I've got a companion.
so that's good. Who's really into Gwent.
Yeah.
So I suppose that wraps up episode 2 of season 2021 of Pod of War. We will be back next week. I think we might talk about anticipated games this week. So what I want to do is I kind of want to get all of the evergreen content out the way so we can kind of remember how to make a podcast. And then after that's done, so we can start talking about the news, because I know before, obviously, we used to do a news run through, and we used to do like trophy corner and stuff like that we used to have quite a lot of fun doing. So we'll start bringing that
I
back.
just vomited. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be it's 2021, Craig, so you'll be hosting the achievement corner, and we'll task
So
you.
we're slowly turning this into an Xbox podcast.
Yeah, so what we're going to... So obviously at the minute, I'm basically like hosting and taking control of everything. But what I want to start doing is having a segment for each of the boys to host themselves, because I get tired of my own voice. I really do. And my face. I really get tired of it. So, but that's for the future. For now, thank you for watching Pod of War episode 2. I've been your host, Gizmo. We will see you next week.